another episode of Random-ish with Sanja. I feel like it needs like some snaps and all of that good stuff. I need a wine glass, set it all off. Just a little bit of atmosphere. I'm not alone. This is great. 2 shows in a row. I talk to myself a lot anyway, so it's nice to be able to have conversation with somebody else. Welcome to the show, Megan. Megan, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good, for sure. But I had this lady. She was a very I don't want to say necessarily like she's that she was the epitome of what I want to be, but she was the epitome of what I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I picked her up in the Stamford, New York line where the big estates are.
Mm-hmm.
Her house, I was like, oh, you go, bitch. Bitch, you go. You know, I love seeing people do their thing. I just love that. You know what I mean? It totally motivates. I'm like, bitch, how'd you do that? So we're conversating, and found out that she was the owner of a luggage line, and that she was, she started off in fashion and some other, areas, of course, in a higher position, but then she decided that she was going to do her own thing, And I'm like, oh my God, I'm an entrepreneur too. And she's like, you need to promote yourself.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
I was just
That's
like,
true.
she's like, you never know who you're picking up, And I was just like, you don't think that's like crazy? She's like, no, if it naturally, she's like, don't just when people get in the car, like, don't just be like, hey, I'm a DJ, but she's like, if it comes up in a natural kind of a way, dude, like totally. So I was like, oh, okay. So since then, being with all of that being said, that's how Megan is here in our conversations. I was like, girl, I gotta, listen, girl, your stories are crazy, and I got to get you on. Yeah. So tell the people, what is it that you do? What do you do?
So I work in retail. I do cashier work, and I also do like stocking and stuff like that. Work on the floor and just helping people with whatever they need, which is good and bad.
Well, yeah. What's so funny is that we were having such a great conversation just about people and customer service and how I'm like, she's such a nice girl, but I felt so I'm an energy person, and I remember when you got in the car, it was like a little like, you're like, ugh.
Not in morning.
Yeah, and it was morning time, so she was like, and our conversation, I felt your energy shift, and then I'm like, and then the stories that you were like telling me, I was kind of like, it was so intriguing to me how we affect one another. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm always amazed at, my mom did retail growing up. She worked at like JCPenney's and like some other like drapery places. So like people were like, can be real assholes when it comes to like their drapery. So, cause it's like a luxury item. So like they're being, and I used to always feel so bad for her cause she's so sweet. People are so mean,
They can be.
And your stories, the story that you told me now, okay, folks, but she told me this. I said, hold up, wait a minute. I need your information. Got to have you on the podcast. Oh, hell to the no. Did that happen to you? Mm-hmm. Now, you told me that somebody smacked you. So wait. We're not going to go there yet because that's like diving all the way in. Back it up.
Right.
I think that all of us have retail experience. Mm-hmm. I think everybody's first job is a retail job. Mm-hmm. I worked at McDonald's.
If you're lucky, it's your first.
Right? If you're lucky, your parents hooked you up with a freaking cush job, and you're like sitting on your ass, or you're like doing gopher stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, that'd have been like. In the retail, do you feel like that kind of affects your mood, like having to deal with that? Is there any kind of regulations? I mean, we don't want to have like, mm-hmm. tell people what to do and everything like that. Right. But are there any regulations for like socialism with the whole?
So you mean like if they don't want you to like talk too much or something?
Yeah, like is there no dating allowed? Like are you guys like hanging out after work and stuff? Like
there were a few places, like my first job, they really didn't want us to like be like a family. And that's what I felt like. And even now, I still feel very close to a lot of people I worked with. Like, it was my first job ever. I was in high school.
No.
So I was like me learning everything.
Right.
I worked with all older people, so I felt like I was taken under their wing.
Right.
But in a lot of other places, it's like they don't really care if you do your job.
Wait, what?
They don't care. Like, you can like just talk and do whatever you want, but you have to do your job, do it correctly. Like, don't be unprofessional. You still have to, when there's a customer in front of you.
Right.
Of course, that's who you're supposed to be paying attention to. But
right.
if it's slow or something, they're not going to be like, oh, stay in your corner.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk and socialize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still have to do your job.
Yeah.
But...
So are you guys hanging out after work? Do you guys do that? Do people, are we still doing that?
Some people do, but my job that I have now, I've been there a few months, so I'm not like really, really close with anybody there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm still very close to a lot of other people that I've worked with in the past that I will go out to a bar with or whatever, and we'll hang out and chill. Like, we're friends.
Yeah. Don't you think that makes the work environment a little bit easier? Do you feel like that makes it like people care more about their job when they're happy?
Right. That's the only way you're going to get through any kind of job, is if you are happy. If you have everybody just down on you, management, and then you have to deal with a bad customer at the same time, you're not going to want to work at all. You're not going to want to be there. You're going to go in kind of like depressed. Yeah. I've had that feeling. You've seen me with that feeling. It's not good.
It's not good. Yeah. You know, and it's the craziest thing when you see, I saw so many things, has so many examples of customer service and management and treatment of employees happened since I had the conversation with you. One example of management treating their employees like kings and queens, USAA, my insurance company, right? So again, after we had the conversation, I saw their Christmas party. It was hashtag that, search that bitch on fucking Instagram. And I was like, damn, yo, can I DJ y'all party? Like, it was like, I think it was like some kind of Alice in Wonderland, and like, oh my God, like it was legit, like it was like over the top Disneyland for the employees of USAA. Nice. And I was like, and all I thought about was like, damn, no wonder why the employees are so nice. No wonder why they're so freaking nice, because they're like, yo, we get treated like kings and queens up in this piece, And I was just like, wow, that's wow, they've got to be really happy. Right, that's why they're all not leaving. And I think it was either, I don't remember if it was before or after. No, it was definitely before, I think. I was at Sears, and I mentioned this on another podcast. I was at Sears getting some jewelry, and this man walked up to the girl. There was like 20 people. And now, hold up. Now I'm going to say this. See, if you work your energy right, you'll be doing like I did. And there was like 20 people there. And because Sister Girl knows how to vibrate, I walked up, and the people before me stopped, and the sales counter chick, she and I like had a cute little conversation, and then she helped me in their like swimwear. Or you could be like the gentleman who walked up to the girl and was just like, yo, bitch, why didn't you tell me I needed a number, bitch? You fucking bitch. And it was like, oh my God. Why? Everybody was just like, dude, why? Like, it's not even, it's Christmas time. Like,
right, you're supposed to be happy right now.
You should be happy. There's going to be lines. Like, it's a mall. Right. There's 50 people here. There's only 2 cash registers. Like, you know. Right. But it was so interesting. And Sears was closing. The girls seemed to be happy, but they were also stressed out because the registers kept freezing. Because I was like talking to them, you know what I mean? And I was just kind of laughing at the whole scenario. But so like the registers were freezing up, and they were having like some issues and stuff like that.
At that time.
Yeah, and people are like, you see the people, and some people were not bothered, like myself, and then some people were like, talking shit. Well, they should be given. It's just like, okay, like like Walmart and then Target. Let me say it like that. Right. Yeah, let me say it like that. So you got Walmart shoppers, and then you have like Target shoppers.
I guess it would be more along the lines of Target. Places
that you've been working at. Yeah. Oh, girl, that's a whole nother story. So I wonder if that's like an entitlement thing. Well, because you know what my question is that I notice that when sometimes with people who will kick tires, they have a bigger attitude with people because they're already maybe stressed out about what they're spending or something. I don't know why I'm trying to make excuses for these people, but
I definitely feel that it's the different the store, the different clientele, the more problems or less problems you'll have.
Really? So it is definitely a...
definitely, you see a difference.
Wow.
Interesting, because me working at Big Lots, it's the discount store, I honestly, for the most part, I did not have problems. It's kind of like when I see it, the more they spend, the more they feel that they're entitled. And I know that that's not necessarily right to say, but just because of the experiences, it just feels like everybody's just more chill, like at a Big Lots versus at a Target. I don't know why.
Really?
Definitely.
Well, see, that's very interesting. I would say that, you know what, you're probably right about that, because I do notice that when you start making like a certain amount, or when you start living your life in a certain kind of way, you do have a entitlement thing going on. We know that, and again, I'm over here because when the girl told me this, so we'll get to the stories. I'm a person who does sometimes wonder why people do the things that they do, you know? And so it really, when you said that to me, I said, what the motherfucker? How in the hell does that even happen? Like, you know, and so again, all of these examples, you know what I mean, of great customer service, of bad customer service. Okay, because before we get into your story, because I'm so digging deep for maybe this girl had some like crazy experiences, and that's why she did you like that. The only way that would make sense. So Frontier, love your Frontier. So they do my internet, and I moved. I'm trying to get it set up. Called a long time ago. Move in. Blah blah blah. Right, girl. It's been like 2 weeks, and I promise you, I've been getting the runaround from the tech support to the customer service support to the tech support to the customer service support. No, we don't do that. No, they do that. No, we don't do that. No, they do that. And we're gonna call you back. It's been crazy. Spoke to operators. I've spoken to like 4 different operators. I had an appointment set, but then that was supposed to be for today, actually. Talked to the operator yesterday. She says, oh no, they set it for January 3rd, but then they said that they couldn't get a hold of you. And I'm like, the hell they did. No. Right. And so it's so funny because I'm talking on the phone with her, and she's like, well, you know, here's the thing is that I take care of my parents' bills, you know, and so I'm all about, you know, like going in and going through. And she's like, we've been on the phone for 10 minutes and I've already got your thing like already starting to set up and process. Right. The computer then slowed down, so we continued to conversate and everything, and it was a great conversation, you know, and she was able to fix the thing for me. Now, here's the thing, is last night I spoke to another girl. Great conversation. She's like, oh my God, this is the best customer service phone call I've ever had. I can't believe you're not mad, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, who am I going to go choke, lady? You know, I might as well laugh because, you know, and so she's like, this is so great, right? But then at the end of the conversation, she goes, I'm sorry, Miss Dickerson, I can't help you with that. I'm going to have you either call back again for the jack installation. And I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just done. I'm like, okay, I feel like people are testing me, trying to see if I'm going to spaz out on them. So I'm just going to, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I tried to call yesterday. My phone wasn't really working. So then I called again today. This morning. That's what's so wonderful about the timing of everything. So I call again this morning, and I'm talking to the girl, and she's like, yeah, she was like, yeah, anybody that you spoke to the past 4 times, because I see notes, and they all could have just did it. It's like, I don't know why they kept bouncing you around. She's like, so I'm going to waive the installation fees for you because you got bounced around and stuff like that. But it was the funniest thing. And, you know, we were conversating about how people show up just for a check. And if you don't like the job, I mean, for crying out loud, I love to do this. I love my radio show. I love to DJ. I don't necessarily, I like Ubering, it's cool, but it's not necessarily my bag. It's really kind of not my bag. I like to drive and I like to meet people. So there's a lot of aspects that I do like. So therefore, when I go and do the little Uber job, I'm not going to have an attitude with people because it's not something that I prefer to do for my money. Most people, I don't feel like can separate that ish. And they're walking around with like the stankiest attitude because you hate your life. Now I got to pay for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, yo, I was trying to order a coffee.
Yeah, I know. It's hard.
Do you find that there are, with your coworkers, like, how do you spot those employees that are like that? And what do you do about it?
What do I do about
Yeah,
it?
like as your coworker, like how do you, if they're like in your ear like all day long, like, you know,
Just
fuck this place and
mad?
yeah,
I mean,
like
honestly, you can't do anything about that.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
see, it's I understand it because of the stress you go through.
Yeah.
And the amount of money you make.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like right now, I don't have a choice.
Right.
This is what I have to do. I have to do whatever jobs that I can get. I have to finish putting myself through school. And maybe, hopefully, one day I don't have to do retail.
Right.
So I understand why you would have that attitude and you would be irked. But I also understand, like, I'm also a customer. Like, I don't automatically just want to go up to somebody that's going to be already in their feelings. Like, I swear I understand, like, it is stressful. You go through it constantly and they put so much on you. And it's like, I'm not even like a supervisor or anything. I'm not getting paid the way that I should be.
Right.
But I also understand that it is your job. So I understand both sides to that. It's hard.
Yeah. So that's like I mean, if you have somebody who's negative in your ear, that's like not an easy thing to, I mean, in real life too, when people are, you know, talking about how horrible it is, it's not the easiest thing to like stay in your zone. But then you also have people who are entitled and who are walking around as if, you know, the customers are like, you're our property because you work for us and, you know, shine my shoe, you know what I mean? Real crazy type people. So what is the craziest customer story that you, of a horrible, do you have a good customer story too?
I feel like I have like a few things that I've seen happen or that I've been in personally. But I mean, I guess getting hit was the worst out of them all.
So you have more worse stories than good
it's
stories.
just people just being rude. I guess just being people. I mean, and I also want to say, even though that I do go through what I go through, and you saw me like I wasn't very happy that morning, and everybody tells me this, I can be in the worst mood just because I've had the worst day. I know how to talk to a customer still. I'm very nice. I smile. I do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Usually my customers don't know that I am going through it.
Yeah. And that's exactly, I think, how we're all, you know.
It's hard.
It's hard and it's not the easiest thing.
Right.
But I think that some people have this notion these days that you're supposed to keep it real. And you're keeping it real, that when somebody says something that you have misinterpreted or taken it a wrong way or taken exactly how the fuck they meant it, because sometimes there's that too, you know, that you're supposed to now react and show your feelings. When we do that, that's how wars could, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how things escalate and keep going. Because once you do something to me, now I gotta do something to you. You give me a little attitude, well, bitch, I'm about to make you lose your job. You know what I mean? Like, it's like people, they want to one-up each other. Again, you're like, why is she talking about this? Okay, if you could see this nice young lady here, she about to tell you what had happened to her that made me say, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Girl, what happened that day? The day that it happened. What? Ooh, I do kind of want to know this. So what happened that day? What was going on that day?
From the beginning?
Yeah.
I was perfectly fine. It wasn't even a bad day. It wasn't crazy busy, but it was a decent flow. Uh-huh. Like I said, sometimes I work on the floor, so that when they need backup, I guess this is like the thing. I wasn't scheduled as a cashier. I was a backup. So they were like, you know, we need a little extra hands up here. Could you come up here? And that's what I got. So it's kind of like I wasn't even supposed to. You weren't even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of is irking as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's some interesting. So, and will you tell them? Okay, because you know we're like, okay, again. Let me reiterate this. Okay, this nice young lady, cashier at a store. Okay, woman hit her, yo. Fucking hit her, okay? Like, and what was it over again? Some motherfucking coupons?
It was coupons.
Can you tell them the story? Girl, tell them the story. Tell them what happened.
She just comes up and I'm helping her. I'm asking her if she's fine and everything okay, you know, everything that you have to ask. And again, it wasn't a bad day. I'm not giving her an attitude.
Yeah.
I'm usually very nice. It's not that hard. Just give people a smile, they'll smile back. So she was giving me the coupons, and most coupons work. You can't have all these coupons on one transaction. So I'm telling her which ones weren't going to apply and, stuff like that. So she had like a whole bunch of coupons in her hand already. So the ones that didn't apply, I go back to her and I'm like, okay, so these didn't go through. I'm going to hand them back to you, but I have to give her the right one back because God forbid she comes back.
Right.
They scan it and it's like, no, this was already used.
Yeah.
Anybody's going to be mad at that. So I'm like, I'm trying to help you out. I'm going to give you the right coupons back. Again, it was a pile. So I'm going through it for her. And she just snaps completely. And she's like, oh, I don't need it. And she starts smacking the crap out of me with the coupon she has in her hand. And I'm like, and I literally didn't even do anything. I just stood there and I was just staring at her. And I was like, do I want this job?
Right,
or
like,
am I going to go crazy?
I'm going to jail today.
Right. Because I'm a very nice person, but if I snap because you're just rude and disrespectful, you're not going to like me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Completely off the wall. Like, please do, like, I don't.
You don't want to see that side.
I don't want you to hit me. Like, right. Yeah, exactly. You don't. And I'm just like, I was like shaking and I'm just like, literally, like, I didn't even know what to say to her. So she's like, I don't need it. So I was like, that's all you had to say.
Yeah. Like,
you didn't need to hit me. You didn't need to touch me. You didn't need to go over that line across the register. Like, are you serious?
Okay, now my next question is, so what happened afterwards? Did you tell management? Did management did anybody see it? Did anybody, was charges pressed?
Like, did anybody saw it, and I didn't really tell them what happened because I was mad, but I was like, I'm not coming back up at the register today. I was just like, I just went back to the floor and I was almost done with my shift. So that's the other thing. I was like, I was just over it. I was like, okay. Wow. It just ruined it for me. Yeah. I didn't have that much longer. I was like, I just want to go home.
And so she just totally got away with that shit. Scott fucking free.
And here's the thing though, because I've seen other customers not physically hit somebody, but they will just rip you apart. And management is just like, okay, have a good day. And then they'll turn to you and be like, oh, you're going to get some customers like that. It's not like they're going to actually do anything. I honestly felt like it was pointless for me to tell anybody. Right. What are you going to do? You're going to tell her to not come back in? You're going to tell her, like, what are you going to do to her? She's not going to be arrested. I'm not going to press charges, but I also don't appreciate that I was touched. I was hit. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do?
You know, I'm not going to say that this is a nationality thing, but I am going to say, let it have been the other way around, and your ass would be in jail. Like, seriously. Like, no, not for nothing. Like, not for... Girl, please. We both know that your ass is not getting out that stuff.
Yeah, like, even vice versa. If I would have done something a little bit more, I wouldn't have hit her. But I feel like I would have snapped a little bit. I would have started yelling or something. Yeah. I would have been in the wrong.
Yeah.
Either way.
Either way.
So it's kind of like, just get her to go out the door.
Yeah. And
just let me go do what I got to do to get out. It's you really can't. At least that's how I feel. I feel
no, like I mean, and you're absolutely right because here's the thing is that the customer is always right because regardless is business is I want you to buy from me. I need you to buy from me.
Right,
yeah. So you can buy from anybody else,
Especially this day and age, it's like everybody's competing, so it's kind of like, oh, we'll let you do whatever you want to us.
Pretty much. As long as you keep giving you that money.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I do feel that, it is getting to a very crazy, like it's really getting to a really crazy day and age. But at the same time, what's so funny is that I feel like the world is moving into this positive era where we do want people to be nicer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I do feel like it is moving into that. And so that's the purpose of this whole little conversation is because sometimes I think that we do need a check reminder of how people can be. And if you are a person who sits in the light and you appreciate people for their jobs and what they do for a living, be a little nicer to your customer service reps. take a note for me how I kept on laughing yesterday when the girl was like, you know, oh my God, this is the best phone call. Still can't help you.
Sometimes, like, again, I know that there's some people that are just like, you're there for the check.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times when you're put in a situation, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
But you seem like the bad guy. And it's like,
yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm trying to help you the best way I can. But just so you know, I'm just as aggravated as you are because I can't make whatever work. It's annoying. It's not
my company.
Yeah.
I can't even, I can't really, you know, I worked at a T-Mobile customer service for like 3 months, I want to say it was. And I think I made it onto the floor for like a week, not that long. But it was definitely, it's people are calling in with an attitude. Now, customer service, those call centers, ooh, no. I worked at Spiegel, that's right. Right before I was, when I was in college and right before I got into radio, I worked at Spiegel. I did customer service there. And that was sometimes good, sometimes not. Either way it goes, it's nobody should be taking things out on other people. I'm sorry. I just really do think that if a person is doing that to another person, they got some shit going on. You know what I mean? They got some stuff going on.
Sometimes too, so that's why I sometimes feel bad when it's like you just get somebody that just walks up to you with an attitude.
Yeah.
Like they just came in through the door with an attitude.
Yeah.
You probably had a crappy day yourself. So I understand that. But there's also that line that you're crossing. And it's like, okay, like stop being disrespectful. You're doing the most. Yeah. I'm here doing my job. Just like you were just at your job doing your job.
Right? I'm not there trying to tell you how to do your job. Like, come on, dude, you know? You're there to figure it out. Now, if you could, I guess not so much in your position and what you're doing, because do you ever have those wonderful, like, customers, the customers who, like, you know, gravitate towards you, you know, or maybe like do nice things for you, maybe bring you a card or something like that? Or do we have any consumers like that still?
There's people like that. Like, again, I haven't been at this job long, but there's been other people that, like the first job that I worked at, they'll come in and they'll ask about, you know, how you're doing or whatever. If you don't see them for a while. Yeah. There was one time somebody bought me lunch. So it's not like everybody is just straight up rude, but I mean, it's a decent amount of people. And it's also kind of a certain time of year. I don't know why, holidays, everybody's always just anxious. And it's like, we do the same thing every year. Yeah. You know there's going to be traffic.
You know it's coming.
You know there's going to be long lines. Like, just be joyful.
They're spending money they don't have. It's got to be.
But again, I can't tell you to spend it or not spend it.
Why you buying it? Well, yeah, exactly. You know.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's a lot.
So would you say that majority of the people are anxious and feeling not walking around happiness? Like, so is it a 50-50 split? Or is it 60-40?
It's a decent amount of people, but I can't say that. Most of the time when I'm working, I get a lot of good people.
Oh, that's good.
I get a lot of thankful people.
Oh, that's good.
It's I don't want to say it's not bad, because it is a decent amount of people that will try to make your life just worse than what it really was. Right. But I do get a lot of people that are just like, oh, thank you. Or they'll go to my manager and they'll be like, oh, keep that one because she does, you know, she's doing really good. Like, oh, that's and that makes me happy because I'm not trying to get a pat in the back, but I just want to make sure that whoever I'm helping, that they're happy. Right. Just like how I would want to go into a store and I'm asking for help, that they just help me. Yeah. I don't want anybody to, you know, bend over and bow down to me. Exactly. Just help me. Like, just answer the question, yo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all I want. So that's what I do for people.
See, and that's just a wonderful thing. I'm glad to hear that because, you know, like I said, it's nice to be able to see the balance, but, you know, I think that it's nice to have a reminder, you know, for us that, you know, during the times of the holidays, that even though we're stressed out, even though you got, you know the credit card payments are going to be crazy, you know what I mean? You know that, you know, you got traffic to deal with it. Even though we got to go through that, it's not fair to take it out on the customer service, the retail people. It's good to hear, though, that there's more thankful people, more people who are appreciative. than the bad. But that's the thing that sucks though, is that for those who are out of line and out of character, it just really sticks out like really bad,
right,
you know.
Exactly.
And it's just a shame. But nonetheless, if you had the choice right now to not work retail,
I would not work. I would not. I didn't want to, but
I didn't even get the question out.
Truly, I cannot wait until I don't. Like, I would rather have my own business.
Right.
I feel like it's different than if I have people under me, like employees. I know me personally, I would try to save them instead of just being on the customer side.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happens a lot too, which isn't fair because there's lots of times where it's like, I didn't even say anything to the person and they're just mad. Yeah. And I'm still in the wrong.
Yeah.
I can understand if I wasn't doing my job, if I wasn't trying to search for whatever they were trying to get, or whatever the case is, I get it. But I'm not even doing anything yet and I'm automatically wrong. Yeah. I feel like that's not right.
No, it's really not. I think that that's something that in society, just period, that it's something that needs to be taken into mind, and that we need to be way more, caring. And I do feel like we're moving towards that because of the new generation and everybody coming in on the wings of the generation before and what they want. I do feel like we are moving to a place where it's the companies are understanding. Treat your employees right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Get to know your employees. Have a bit of a family atmosphere, and people are going to thrive and succeed. The businesses that I've worked for where it was like that, it was absolutely great. If management was effed up, then typically the whole thing was, it just makes it more stressful. It's just not good. It should be a place where people are getting along. I would say for you that even though, of course you don't want to work, you don't want to work in retail.
Not forever.
Not forever. But it obviously is giving you really great skills that you're going to be able to take forth into whatever career it is that you choose to be in, or whatever business it is that you choose to be in, because it just gives you greater knowledge on how people should be treated, how people can be.
Humble. It really does. I had a woman that came up to me. Something happened with a customer before. It wasn't anything. I didn't hit. It wasn't anything that crazy. But she came up after and she was like, "Oh, I get it, honey. I worked retail." She was an older woman. She was like, "I get it."
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because I know you're not going to try to give me a hard time. It's like, you have to be in our shoes before you can actually understand.
And I know that with my little tiny retail experience that I had, I enjoyed it as a teenager, but I too had that because it's that people could talk to you any kind of way. They treat you a little bit beneath, and it's like not fair, But it's like I said, when you told me that story, I was just like, what the, It's just, how do people have the audacity, and how do you have that right to think that you can do that, Again, I just think that we have to talk about these things, because even though we do feel like we're getting into much better places with how we are, I think sometimes we do need reality doses and reality checks. And even though I'm a super positive person and I only want to really, acknowledge the wonderful things in life, I do acknowledge that other people are living different existences. They're facing different things. And then I like to, sandwich that shit up by saying, well, there's a way that you can avoid all of that craziness. And the way that you do it is it's not our job to say that it needs to end. It's not our job to say that it's even right or wrong. I think that even in your conversation that you were having, you could tell that it was a preference. And you kept saying it over and over again. And people say it to you, "Oh, honey, well, you've worked retail and prefer to have a better day." You prefer to have people who are nicer. And we are frequencies, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get too much into that, but we are frequencies. And when you tune yourself into the station you want to be tuned into, and you do that at a consistent basis, 30 days, really, you can really you can tune your shit within 3 days, saying like to where you start experiencing life in a different way. You can really get it done in 3 days. But when you start tuning yourself at home in the morning time, before you do anything, and then go out into the world, the people who are that you'll be attracting to you will be all of those wonderful, lovely, thankful people. Mm-hmm. Just like I'm sure you've already realized, And sometimes when I have conversations about that, people will say, well, I wasn't in a bad mood, or I wasn't thinking anything negative. And it's like, it doesn't exactly work like that. You're saying, because a lot of the times, even with myself, I like to believe that I'm a master at manifesting, mm-hmm. right? Being a master doesn't mean that you're perfect. It just means that you know how it works and you know mm-hmm. how to do it. You know what I mean? Even so, I too have times where I don't realize what the fuck what I've been thinking about, because you're like in this, and so sometimes you'll be like in this great mood, and then all of a sudden it starts lowering. You don't even really know why, and it's because there was thoughts that were going on, or you saw stuff. You're out, things get triggered. A song came on or reminded you. It's retarded. So it's an all day, every day alignment, bringing yourself back into the zone. But it sounds too simple.
You're like supposed to, like, I read somewhere, you're supposed to like smile before you go to work mm-hmm. and say, I'm going to have a good day. Not that mm-hmm. that necessarily means that you're going to have a good day. You just have to put yourself mentally in that. I do that sometimes because it gets stressful, and I'm like, I really don't feel like going to work. I just rather stay home, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get through this.
It's going to be a good day.
Most of the time, it's okay.
Yeah. And now it's all about the energy that we're putting out.
Perfect opportunity to talk about my book, Manifest Beauty. Wrote a quick book about changing your frequency, writing another one. The point is to get the information out and to help more people feel true and feel free to themselves and set their attraction point for the day. So the book is called Manifest Beauty. It's available on Amazon Kindle and will be available on Google Play. But I have an exercise, or let me describe something to you.
You know that feeling when you first wake up and you don't really remember that you're human, that where I'm for like the splittest of a split second, you're like, huh. It's like a blank feeling. Mm-hmm. Before you remember who you are, before you remember what you got to do that day, it's that first waking up feeling. What I want you to do is to expand that feeling. So tomorrow morning when you first wake up and that feeling, you got to find it first. Mm-hmm. Notice it first. It's a very soft waking up. It's like, if I can describe it as anything, it's the gray. Okay, because you know how like the black is when you're totally asleep, the white is when you're totally awake. It's the gray area. It's that right before you wake up, and it's that tingling feeling that takes place in your body as you're waking up. It's a tingling feeling. It's detachment, because you feel like you're coming back into your body. If you expand on it and notice it. So when you're meditating, the point is to get to that fucking feeling. The point is that if you can tune yourself to that feeling more and more throughout your day, your days are going to match that motherfucking feeling. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? But we're not doing that. We wake up, we feel that feeling for 2 seconds, and that's why everybody wants to stay in bed when you first wake up. That's the reason why everybody feels that way. It's because it's that feeling that everybody's like, ooh, you know what I mean? And then it goes away as soon as your kid comes in, the phone rings, whatever. If you wake up to an alarm, then you really never get to have that sensation, because you're being startled in your sleep. So you're not getting that sensation before you wake up.
Megan, it was so wonderful having you on. Thank you so much for stopping and giving me some time. Much, much appreciated. Listen, guys, we need to be nicer to those people working the cash registers, those people making the deliveries. And again, you remember the golden rule. We always need to treat people the way we want to be treated. And on that note, ta-ta for now.
This
Talk to you later.
Sanja.
Yo, check it out. It's my girl Sanja.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what up, Sanja?